Hello, and welcome to Four Little Bears. Today, let's continue the Fun Fold Stash Buster with card 7, Circle Flip. This is the first card in the series that requires a special tool. I'll be using a die cutting machine and a circle die to create the flip mechanism, but don't worry, I will walk you through exactly how I do it. And if you're making the full batch, make sure you watch the intro cut guide. If you don't have a traditional manual die cutting machine, but you do have a Cricut or a Silhouette, don't stress. I'll show you how to use the free SVG version in a separate tutorial very soon. To start out, we'll start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. And we'll score that at 4.25 inches. And that just makes a traditional A2 size card base. For the piece of cardstock, or the pieces that are in a complementary color, we'll start with the 5 by 8 inch piece. And we'll score at 2. And I will slide that over and score at 3.5. If your scoreboard goes the other direction, use the measurements on the PDF. But I will score at 5.5 next. And I'll just kind of fold and burnish those all in. A note on these papers, just make sure they are heavy enough that when you fold them, they will hold up. So make sure they're not too thin, but also not super thick, so it doesn't make it too thick to cut through. We're looking for a Goldilocks here. I'm just going to tape this down with some very, very used tape. Make sure it's not going to rip up anything. I'm just going to tape that down so that I can dry fit it in order to place the left piece of paper. So I'm going to put this down with the 2.25 inch piece down first. I'll fold under the 2 inch section, and then I can kind of not dry fit. I'm actually going to glue down this complementary piece that is 5 by 1.75, just to kind of help me get my measurements down and see where it should go. Of course, you could just eyeball it. The ingredients for this are listed in the PDF, but you will need patterned paper, one that is 1.25 by 4.75, one that's 1.75 by 4.75, and the next 3, be very, very careful because I'm not, and I screw it up. Go ahead and set these aside because that 4-inch measure is really close to some of the inside measurements. So go ahead and set those 4-inch measurements aside so that you know that those are the front. Look, here's where I get so confused. I'm like, wait, that's not right. I'm so confused. They're too close. So yeah, definitely set those aside or measure them before you place them. I'm going to make a mistake here. I'm going to actually, what I did was trimmed up the piece that was longer. So now my inside piece is too short. I'm not sure that the tape helped me at all, but you definitely don't want to put this on a backing because you don't want any extra bulk here. Now we're going to cut this section here. So remember, if you don't have a die cut machine, there's a free SVG available if you happen to have a Cricut or a Silhouette. And that video will be coming soon because you'll do it a little differently, or a lot differently. I'll just open that up so that I don't cut through the back of the card. And fast forward through my shaky die cut machine. Now, most likely you're going to need to cut through both sides of this because of all that cardstock there. You can see mine cut all the way through where there was no pink backer piece of the complementary paper on the backside. Or I should say the inside, but it definitely did not cut through that section there. But it is enough for me to kind of line up my shape, as long as whatever shape you choose, I should have mentioned this earlier, whatever shape you choose should be symmetrical. It means it's the same on both sides so that when you flip it, it won't change the shape because you will probably most definitely have to cut it on both sides. And save that little piece, that little cutout. It should go on to the next card. I lose it, but it should go on to the next card. So go ahead and save that piece. I did save it. I put it up somewhere so special that I didn't find it until it was too late and I used it on a different card. Now, I am never going to get this perfect when I cut from one side to the other, so I'll just use a little craft knife to get it as best I can. And then I will just take a marker, just ink blend or color the edges in some way so that I can pretend like I cut that perfectly. I just use a piece of scrap paper so that I can kind of use the edge of the cutout to guide me as carefully as I can. I'll fast forward through my perfectionism as I do the back also. All right, now it's just time to place the flipping mechanism. So first I'm going to glue the 2-inch section, I'm going to fold it underneath, put glue all over it, and I'm not going to care that it's going to hit the little hole that we made. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And I'm just going to line that up as best I can to the left side of the center card fold. And then I'm just going to rub away that extra glue. You won't see it in the end. Now that that's done, I'll fold back the 2.5-inch section and glue that. And I'll just lay that paper flat and glue it flat down. Now as I open it up, you'll see we've got this little step that it made. And I'll just burnish that down to make sure all of my folds are in there, right? And again, don't worry about that glue on the left-hand side. We'll cover it up. Now that we've done that, we can go ahead and put in our inside pieces. And look at that. That's the one that's 4 inches because I trimmed the one that was the right size. Here's me realizing what I did. It's fine. Just separate them so that you don't make the same mistake I do. It's okay. I'll put a sticker down there. Nobody has to know. Nobody knows. Nobody will know. For the sentiment pieces, we'll just want to cut out that same exact shape so that it fills the hole. And then I'm going to do one smaller also for the actual writing to go. And I'll just use a complementary paper for the background. Now, when you glue this down, the part that we got glue on, we don't want to glue down. That's actually not the side we glue down. We're actually going to want to put glue on the right side only. So where that purple paper is on the right side of the circular window is where we'll put glue. Again, not on the left half that we already got messy, only on the right half. I'm going to go ahead and do the same trick with the edge of this just to give it a little gold to pop out so it doesn't kind of blend in with the white background. I love this trick. It's just a way to like finish off the edges and also give it a layered look or just a way to pop against the other sheets. Stamp a cute little Echo Park sentiment in there, if I can hold on to it and not throw it across the room. As we're getting kind of close to the end here, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share. Every little bit counts. Go ahead and add my writing insert. And this card has been around forever, but I was inspired by Patty Bennett. And if I can find her video, I will link it below. She does a great job of explaining how to make this happen. But there it is. I really hope you enjoyed this. Go check out Patty's video. Again, I'll link that down below for you. Leave a comment and tell me how you liked the series so far. I'd love to hear from you and see what you do. As always, guys, stay safe, stay blessed, and have a wonderful week.